Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back with Basking Broodscale on the play for game 1. So we have a number of hits here off the top, right? So we have K Command 4, Glaring Fleshraker 8. We have all of our green sources, so 11, so 19. So we have 19 hits off the top right now. Yeah, I mean, we'll go for it. Worst comes to worst, we start making constructs on turn 3. So we'll go that route. As you can see, we are playing a copy of Ugin, Eye of the Storms. There have been some lists that have been performing well with a one-of copy. When I look back at the data when we were running the Ugin's lab version, unsurprisingly, Ugin, Eye of the Storms was performing rather well in both opening hand as well as cast data. So it was interesting to see the one-of copy being played in the recent challenges. So I decided to go back to Writhing Chrysalis, give that another shot, as well as add a single Ugin, as Chrysalis can get us to Ugin as early as turn 4. So definitely interesting there. Not thrilled to see the Ragavan. So probably Zoo if I had to wager a guess. So would love to see a K command here off the top. Ballista would be fine as well. What we thinking? There's Grove. So what I can do with Grove then is we can Malevolent Rumble. And this way we can block the Ragavan. So I see Ballista, I see Chrysalis. Chrysalis can't be played unless we draw into another green or red source. So Chrysalis is off the table, as much as I would like to grab it. Ballista would be a decent choice, as would Basking Broodscale, though we are a bit shy of getting to the point of comboing off. Though I think we still grab the Broodscale here. We'll grab the Broodscale because we draw into a Blade. We're pretty much set. We'll pass. I will snap block. Opponent's thinking whether or not they want to bolt it, I imagine. Like I said, I'll snap block though. Watery Grave. Shock the 16. Could be a Cecil. Preordain. Okay, so maybe not Zoo, maybe Grixis Murktide? Because I don't think Preordain's commonly used. Top, bottom, draw. Casting. What? Oh, cast Tammy. I was like, what do they cast? Hold on. Drawing. A second Broodscale. So, I mean, we could just chump the Ragavan with Broodscale. That's a thought. So, play Urza Saga trigger. Cast Broodscale. And pass. We'll chump, and then we have another Broodscale as follow-up. Pass. 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. We don't have double green, though, is the only problem. Opponent's going to Dreams of Steel. We'll eat the Broodscale. So we no longer have a Broodscale backup, so in that case, we won't block. And exiles the Walking Ballista from Yard. Okay. 4 in hand. What are we thinking here, opponent? Attack, attack, no blocks, Tamio triggers. And what do you find off top here? You find a Beseiju, that's fine. You got a treasure, you got a clue, 4 in hand. If you have a draw spell, I could flip Tamio. No flip, though. Ooh. Huh. Well, that is interesting. So we can cast, equipped, adapt for 4. I mean, let's first see if the blade resolves. Does the blade of the Blood Chief resolve? Because they either need interaction or... So we could try and go for it. The only downside is then Ragavan would hit. Whereas if I just hold back the Urza Saga... I think I'm going to hold back here. No attacks. Fetch Bloodstained Mire. The fact that it resolved is a bit concerning to me. Okay. And draws a card. Okay. It's a main, 6 in hand. Begins combat. Attacks of Ragavan, attacks of Tamio. Makes a clue. I'm going to make a construct. Go to blocks. Block Ragavan. Triggers the blade. Always yield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 mana to Ugin. Alright, so we figured that they had removal, so I'm glad we didn't go for it. Paying cost for another Ragavan. That's fine. Draw. Ancient Stirrings. 3 in hand, 3 mana, and a clue. Okay. In that case, I'm thinking we make another construct. Three, 4, 5. Thinking a Springleaf Drum, though I think they have more removal. I really don't want Ragavan hitting if I can help. So we could go Haywire Might instead. Grows the construct, gets another blocker. The only downside is we move farther away from being able to cast the Ugin. Because right now we have access to 3, 4, Springleaf would be 5. So in that case, I will grab the Might. Cast Ancient Stirrings. So definitely Grixis control. Fleshraker, Ballista. Ballista's pretty solid, as is Fleshraker. I'll take the Fleshrake. Play E-Temp. And I'll equip Haywire Might or the Construct. For some reason I imagine they'll probably push the Construct, so I'll equip it to the Might. And then pass. Three cards in hand. Paying cost. Bolt. E4 to equip. That's fine. End step. Draw off the clue. Yep. 3 in hand. Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 mana to Emrakul. Or 11 to Emrakul right now. If the Haywire Mite dies, that will be 12. So it'll be pretty close to Emrakul at this point. We'll pass. Attacks with Ragavan, I imagine. Yep. Makes a clue. Block with Ragavan. Or block the Mite. Triggers. I'll gain 2 life. Back up to 20. Alright. Paying cost for Frog. Okay, I would love to see a K command at some point. If they crack the clue... Yeah, no dice there. So I'm also going to cast the Ancient Stirrings. If worse comes to worse, we try and resolve Flesh Rake into Blade to try and ramp. Ballista Bauble. Alternatively, could go for the Forest. Right now, like I said, I'm at 4. That would be 5. I mean, big if, the Flesh Raker resolves. I, for some reason, don't feel like it's going to, though, is the only problem. So it might just be safer to go for the Forest. Yeah, we'll go for the Forest. Does the Flesh Raker resolve? Needs a counterspell as expected. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we do have a full pathway to Emrakul, though we're too short on the Ugin. So if Ugin at this point was a Chrysalis, we would have been able to play the Chrysalis. No, I guess not this turn, just due to the fact that I Ancient Stirring into the land. And the Chrysalis earlier, I guess if Ugin was a TCAS, we would have been able to play the TCAS long ago. And that's kind of the problem with Ugin here, is that sometimes it can just be really hard to cast. But then again, this game has been really, really awkward, admittedly. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If we find Traverse, we can cast Emrakul. They flip Tamiyo. Draw. Give me Emrakul or give me Traverse. That would be ideal. Chrysalis actually is not bad. So red, green, colorless. Always yield. And cast. Any reason to cast the blade here? Probably not. We just equip the Chrysalis. The only problem is Tamiyo here can pick back up push and then crack the clue and push. Yeah. At this point, I'll pass. And hold. I mean, Tamiyo not plusing is not a bad thing for me. Yeah, Tamiyo minus pick up push, crack clue, push Chrysalis would be what I expect here. Crack clue, draws a card. Tamiyo minus, push, unless they drew into a push. Paying cost for, push, yep. Ugin's already out of hand and out of deck, so no way of casting that. They'll float Frog, so that way they can attack over my spawns. 3 cards in hand. Tamiyo plus, I imagine. Oof. Guess I should have played the Blade at this point. I guess there was no reason not to, admittedly. Because now if we draw into a Broodscale, kind of a dead card. Should have floated the Frog. I don't know why he didn't. Draw. Forest. No reason to reveal that. And they also didn't plus the Tamiyo either. So they're playing a little bit sloppy. We'll pass in full. Tamiyo plus. Paying cost for. Dashed Ragavan. So either take something off the top or draw a card. I'm more worried about them taking something off the top here, so block the Ragavan. Just because if they hit something important like an Emrakul, then we're just gonna SOL. Either way, it's a bit of an unknown. Dash back the hand. 4 in hand, draw. I'll play the E-Temp and I'll pass. We've seen 0K commands somehow. Pass. I'll dash to Ragavan again. Plus on the Tamiyo. What are my outs here at this point? There's not much, honestly. Dash to Ragavan. Hit for 3. And they more or less have lethal on board next turn, since with Tamiyo they'll draw half their deck, pitch at the Frog, and win. Clarion Flesh Rake. Honestly, not good enough at this point. Paying cost, Ninjutsu. At end of combat. Yeah, that works. Then you could cast Ragavan on second main. Brutal. Not a lot of people realize that even after damage, you can still ninjutsu. Thoughtseize. Great bait, mate. Plus Tamiyo. And I need Emrakul. I think that's really my only option here. Emrakul. K command. Okay, so at this point we force check. So we'll have 7, so it's a -1. Yeah, I think that's really my only option. So let's go digging. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 -1 would be 16, so we should be good to go in on full. I guess actually let me hold 1 green in case we see the traverse. It's not a bad idea. Alright, force check. That resolves. So we find the Emrakul, we find Flesh Rake, so 6, 7, 7, 15, right? So let's bottom the lands. That much is certain. Traverse isn't really doing too much at this point. Well, I guess it guarantees us whatever we want ahead of Rumble. So maybe go Rumble top. Do we want to go Broodscale? I'm not sure Broodscale is where we want to go anymore. Traverse top, Flesh Raker top, Emrakul top and draw. 'Tis an Emrakul. Our turn, comrade. Do you have a subtlety? Pitches with frog. Okay. That's fine. Draw. Tamiyo. Alright, so more or less, I can't have Tamiyo ulting. We can Kaito, we can tap frog, we can attack in with Kaito, we can minus Tamiyo for removal. That seems to be right. We can grab, I suppose, target player discards a card, destroy an artifact, deals 2 damage to any target. Deals 2 damage. So that doesn't really do much. Probably want to just bolt Tamiyo. So yes, let's start by put a stun counter on Frog. Frog is stunned. Let's minus Tamiyo and grab Bolt. We could cast Bolt target Ragavan, or we could cast Bolt target Tamiyo, because that's a -3, right? That'd mean Tamiyo can't minus. So target Tamiyo with Bolt. Tamiyo's at 2. We go to combat. Attack with Kaito. And then block with Emrakul. Kaito's down, leaving just Ragavan and then Psychic Frog. I will Psychic Frog, pitch Tamiyo. That resolves. And then I'm going to exile their entire yard, resolve until end of turn, and then rinse repeat. So this way there's no way that they can flashback anything. I guess we could have, by that sense, preordained and stacked the top instead of hitting the Tamiyo. But I don't foresee much in the way of our opponent getting out of the situation and winning. We'll pass in full. Did we get there? We got there. So this is control, Grix is control, win for game 1. That was a close one, to say the least. We were in rather dire straits. Okay, so let's see here. Dismember seems correct. Thief of Existence seems correct. Vaccine Bauble might be correct. Hard to say there. Might, probably not. Ugin's a bit of a weaker link if we do need to trim. Soul Guy Lantern does seem reasonable. We could argue Wastegate Battle Mage. So what are things we can cut? We can do this, this. That leaves us with 2 slots. So we could bring in the Wastegate. If we bring in the Wastegate, I think we cut the Ugin here. But then again, once Ugin hits board, it's very hard for them to deal with. The biggest thing is, will it hit board, especially between Consign, I imagine Force, and just regular counter spells. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to resolve Ugin. So maybe we do pitch Ugin here. and then bring Ugin back in on the play if we go to game 3. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Alright, let's run it back. Yeah, because Chrysalis being able to block Tamiyo and a jumped frog is very relevant. So I think even the 3 Chrysalis is right here. Could argue a Pithy Needle for Tamiyo. Not sure, to me, that's necessarily correct. But definitely an option. I guess maybe it might be better than the Soul Guide Lantern, assuming that the Soul Guide Lantern... Assuming that the opponent doesn't run Murktide, which we didn't see, but I can only assume that they do run. So, yeah, maybe the Soul Guide is better just for that possibility. Because it kind of covers Tamiyo grabbing stuff back, it also covers the Murktide. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that we really need. Alright. I mean, this is looking good. All we need is a Broodscale. So I'm thinking we go E-Temp and then Flesh Rake. Steam Vents, Shock, Ragavan. Draw. Springleaf. Thinking it's probably better to go for the Springleaf over the Blade on one. Then again, shields are down. Blade hits board. And then they need a Kozilek's command. Not Kozilek's command, oh geez. I am forgetting the other K command. Kolaghan's command. Springleaf, the benefit is that we play the Flesh Rake and then have access to one, so we could play the Springleaf and the Blade. Yeah, let's go that direction, and then pass. If shields are down, we'll go for Saga. If not, we'll go for Caverns. We'll pass. Ragavan hits. We'll probably hit a Broodscale, given how Ragavan works. Delayed Halfling, that's okay. If it's not an opening hand, Halfling's arguably pretty bad. Paying cost for Halfling. Okay. I'm okay seeing that. So they have double blue up, so in that case, we assume they have a counter spell. So we'll go Cavern of Souls, name Eldrazi. And we'll cast Flesh Rake. Now, we're not going to block the Ragavan Flesh Rake, so I'm instead going to trigger Flesh Rake by casting Blade. Polluted Delta will be fetched. We'll pass in full at this point. They'll probably counterspell it, but we have the Saga as backup, so I'm not as worried. I just want a blocker for the Ragavan. Paying cost. Push. Okay, does the Blade resolve? And Consign. Honestly, getting those two things out is not bad. I'm kind of okay with this. I'll pass in full. We'll go Saga next turn, and then we have access to a K command for a frog. Attacking at the halfling, or not. Yep. So it tells me they don't have much in hand to cast right now. I'll block with a spawn. Again, next turn we have a K command, X equals 2. Paying cost for a frog. Alright. Ooh. Shocking. Kind of smells of a consign to memory. We could just check for it. It's either that or a spell snare, right? We're not playing for permission here, so I think it's right just to cast the K command. If they have the consign, they have the consign, and if not, then we are in a decent position. We want blockers, and we want to exile. And done. Force check, consign check. Let's see. Okay, neither. So probably a spell snare or fatal push would be my guess. I'll pass in full. Again, we'll snap block the Ragavan. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for Emrakul. Paying cost for Murktide. So we were right about the Murktide. A forest. So let's see. 1, 2 constructs. 1, 2 construct 1. 1, 2. So we can go another Saga, just try and go Saga as a threat. I'll pass at this point. Yeah, trying to sequence the Saga so you can make the most out of the constructs, is that all you got, is rather important. Attack with the Murktide, attack with the Ragavan. Make a construct. Go to blocks. Block the Ragavan. Take 5, down to 11. 3 in hand. Swamp. And passing. Draw. Blade of the Bloodchief. Triggers. In that case, I will make a construct. And search. Maybe we could go Soul Guy, get rid of the Ragavan at least. It's not great. A second Blade could turn things in our favor, though Soul Guide does give us the ability to draw. So yeah, we'll go Soul Guide. Soul Guide, target Ragavan. And we have access to 1, 2, 3. So yes, we will play Saga. Basically, we just need to threaten their board with enough constructs where they can't attack the Murktide, is the thought here. I will pass. No attacks. Four in hand. Go to combat, down to 6. Alright. Paying cost. End step. Make a construct. Draw. Ancient Stirrings. Triggers on the stack. A little bit worried about this Murktide killing me is the only problem. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is mana neutral. We could go for it. I am going to float. Blade. Saga trigger. Play the Grove as I can't tap the forest. I guess I could alternatively just go Springleaf. You could just Springleaf, arguably. Let's start there. Though, do I want to actually? No, we'll go Grove. Stirrings. Okay, so we can go Chrysalis as a blocker. That works. Oh, don't want that. I want green. I want red. So in that case, let's see here. Can I make a construct first. No, probably not. So in that case, yeah. So green, red, tap. So now I have a blocker. We also have a blade. So we can equip blade to Chrysalis to grow it out of range of the Murktide. So equip blade. Cast blade. And I'm thinking we again attempt to equip blade. Construct here are 2 6/6s. I mean, no matter what, we won't have lethal if the halfling blocks. Right? We could force the halfling to block at least. Sacrifice triggers. Always yield. Always yield. Equip to the construct. Again, this forces the halfling to block whether or not we sack. Attack, attack. They block, triggers. Lethal is very much on board. At this point, I think I simply pass. And hold with bated breath. Paying cost. Destroy each non-land permanent, value 1, exile all yards. So, in that case, is it 1 or less? Yes. Triggers. Triggers. And draw a card. Resolves. So lethal still is on board. Triggers. And pass. And draw. Ancient Stirrings. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, no real way that we'll be able to get an Emrakul, though we could find something else versus Saga. We'll only make a 2/2 construct, which isn't bad, but not great either. So in that case, I'm going to float. Finds the blade. Cast Ancient Stirrings. This is still lethal on board. Finds another Chrysalis. We have enough mana. My biggest concern here, of course, I guess they can't push. So in that case, I will go green, red, colorless, Chrysalis trigger, down to 5, opponent's at 8, and then equip to this Chrysalis. Go to combat. Swing for 11, Murktide will be forced to block. Triggers the blade. 3 cards in hand. Lethal's on board. Hidetsugu will trigger, exiling all graveyards, including opponents. So Chrysalis definitely working well here. Paying cost for Ragavan as a blocker. Okay. Draw. Beseiju. Then return it to hand. Whenever this creature deals damage to a player, dealt 10 or more, the player loses the game. Okay. Play the gemstone. So this is 5/7. Okay, so we don't have the win. Go to combat. Attack with both. Trigger. Put it down to 5. And we'll pass. Holding up Beseiju. We could always Beseiju the Hidetsugu. Not sure that's necessary though. 4 cards in hand. They need non-conditional removal. Or another blocker. Pays cost. Command. Even if they have a push now. So 2 damage to me. Even if they have a push, they lose. So I'll have you gain 1 life. And gemstone. Blade triggers. Steam Vent Shock. Actually, that may have been wrong, because now if they bolt me, I lose. Yeah, I did forget about that. Shoot. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. I wasn't thinking about that. Damn it. Was not thinking about that. Yeah, I punted that. Because I was thinking to myself, okay, so if we just blow it up, then even if they have a push, I still win through damage. Not thinking, okay, if they have a bolt, they win. Damn. Okay. Let's go to sideboard. Yeah. Was not thinking. Got the gemstone, run it back. So I'm trying to think of what their out was going to be there. Because they play the command, sure. It blows up the blade, but we still have 2 Chrysalis. I was just trying to figure out what the game plan was. But now we're on a crunch. I'll keep. Yep, I misplayed. Pass. I'd love to see a temple, otherwise just another land would be great. Steam Vent Shock. Ragavan, we'll dismember it. Nope. Draw. Temple. Rumble. Saga. Trigger. Rumble. Rumble. Looking for a Broodscale. Eldrazi Temple, and pass. And hold. And passing. Traverse. We do have 4 types in yard right now. I will, in that case, traverse. No. I'll pass. They make a construct token, threaten their board. Fetch, Flooded Strand. Undercity Sewers resolves. Land, paying cost for frog. End step. Make a construct. And draw. Float. Grabbing Blade of the Blood Chief. Play E-Temp. Cast Flesh Rake. Do you have a consign? 6 types in yard. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Fetch, Bloodstained Mire. Watery Grave. Shock. Stern Scolding. 7 types in yard. Traverse the Ugin Wall. I'm going to grab a Emrakul and go to combat, see if they're going to block the frog. Pitch 1. Pitch 2. Cast Dismember, and pass in full. Triggers. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Draw. E-Temp. Combat. Cast Thief of Existence. Done. Paying cost. Counterspell. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Equip 1. Equip 2. Pass. And pass. I'd love a green source here for Chrysalis. 3 in hand still. Draw. Broodscale. I still have access to 6. Trigger. Go to combat. Fetch down to 10. 8. Consign. 1 card in hand. 5 damage. To combat down to 3. Pass. And did we get there? Draw. And Punt scoops it up. Okay, well, thankfully I redeemed myself after my absolute blunder in Game 2. I just was not thinking about the Bolt at all, to be completely honest. I was like, okay, well, they only have 1 blocker. They have 1 source left. They're pinging the Blade. But I should just let it resolved and then went to my turn, attacked in, sacked a spawn, and called it a day. No reason for me to have channeled a Boseiju. Thankfully, though, worked out in my favor, so I'll count myself lucky in that regard and be a little bit more mindful for the following games. That being said, I'll be back for match 2. Alright, and we're back for match 2 on the draw for game 1. I'll be keeping this one. I'll pass. So we're going E-Temp. Do we want to even cast the Blade? Boseiju. I guess we could. Okay, so actually I think we go Saga 1, cast Blade. Halfling's also good here. So actually Forest, Halfling, pass. Boseiju off a start. If nothing else makes me feel like Amulet Titan. Yep. Explore. Vestige. Amulet. Draw. Halfling. So in that case, I don't want to give them idea that we have the Blade. So I'm thinking we go Flesh Rake, Halfling, passing, and hope we just don't die. Spelunking. It's only 1 amulet effect, though. We got it. Unless they have a Force of Vigor main. So in that case, I'll go Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi. Green, Basking Broodscale, triggers, always yield. Always yield, resolve, triggers, cast Blade of the Bloodchief, triggers. Equip to Broodscale, opponent scoops it up, we'll take the win against Amulet Titan. Alright, solid win for game 1, let's move on to game 2. So we're gonna want Wastegate Battle Mage, Damn Sphere, Thief of Existence. There's some argument for Soul Guide Lantern as well as Vexing Bauble. So let's take a look at the guide real quick for Gruul. Amulet Titan, normally I would have TKS. Here we have Chrysalis. So I'll probably cut more Chrysalis than I would normally because TKS is decent into combo. So I think we want to keep the Haywire Mite, keep the Vexing Bauble, keep the Soul Guide Lantern. So I'm thinking cut Chrysalis. Ugin's kind of going to fall flat here though. And we're still 1 over, so we got a Rumble. Okay, this looks good. Yeah? We still have 3, 8, 9 payouts. Plenty of ways to interact their game plan. Alright, let's run it back like this. And then when we make it, if we make it to game 3, what do we want to add back in? Probably a Rumble? Yeah. Probably. mean, we can go turn 1 Ancient Stirrings, turn 2 Flesh Rake. Yeah, let's keep it. There's Amulet. Maybe we go Saga 1? No. Let's go Forest, Ancient Stirrings. We might need to actually hold up a Sage on 2. There's the Broodscale. There's also Dampening Sphere. Maybe I should have grabbed the Sphere. I saw the Broodscale and just went snap. Want that. 2. Needle Naming Blades. We might need the Beseiju for that. I mean, that's one of the major reasons we have Might. I mean, I'm trying to remember the artifact's name, Blade of the Blood Chief. Either that or maybe they named Beseiju? Haywire Might. Ooh. Interesting. Ballista. So we're really tempted to play Saga here and hold up Beseiju. The only issue I see here is by holding up Beseiju, we leave ourselves open to a Lotus Field. So I actually think I'd Beseiju now. Is there any reason why we should Beseiju after draw? Probably, actually. So in that case, I'll pass and hold, draw. 5, Beseiju, target Amulet. And pass, because clearly they were concerned about the Haywire Might for the Amulet of Vigor. So the Beseiju on the Vigor should be clean. Shifting Woodland, okay. Next turn we can play Flesh Rake. 4. Scape Shift. Interesting. With no amulet effects, though. What's the thought process here? Maybe go Sagas? And more or less try and outrace me? Maybe Beseiju bounce land, pick up Beseiju? Maybe. Crumbling Vestige, Beseiju, bounce land. Okay, Saga, yeah. Okay, so that kind of lines up with what I was thinking. Picks up the Beseiju. Draw. Rumble. Trigger. So they might just go after the Saga. So in that case, let's start with Rumble. Damping Sphere. That would cut them off of green. That's very tempting. Because then they wouldn't be able to Beseiju. Damping Sphere. It does set me back a turn as well, though. But we need this Saga to resolve. So Damping Sphere, pass. And pass no Beseiju. Saga trigger, you can make a construct if you must. There's Beseiju. 4 mana. And draw. Thief. Saga trigger, float for Blade. So here's Blade of the Blood Chief. Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi. I currently have access to 4 mana. actually is enough. Because 2, 3, Ballista trigger, then Flush Rake. So yes, let's cast Broodscale for green. For colorless. Right. For colorless. Equip Blade. Do you have another Besage is the question. Ballista for 1 for 0. Done. Triggers always yield. Paying cost dismember. Shoot. Alright, an attempt was made. So in that case, I'll pass in full. They'll make a construct. It's a 2/2. They'll make some amulets, most likely. Actually, probably, they might have Haywire Might. I don't know. 2. Amulet. Okay. Amulet. Okay, do you have a way to interact with the sphere? Gruul Turf picks up Beseiju. I see. And then Beseiju the Damp Sphere. Yes. Grab a forest. You have access to 7. Do you have a Titan? Oof. Lotus Field, Lotus Field. No, I guess you can't. Oh, you know, you can go Lotus Field Mirror Pool. That's right, because Mirror Pool will be able to untap twice. Yeah, so as long as they sequence this correctly, this should be the game then, because they have 2 amulets. They have the shifting in Yard, so they just need an analyst. So they go Mirror Pool, then they go T-West Bounce Land. Yeah, T-West Bounce Land. I guess they also could go Echoing Depths, Lotus Field. Yeah, I'll probably go Echoing Depths, Lotus Field here. Picks up the Mirror Pool from Yard. And then we'll copy another Titan. From there... Oh, interesting. Valakut. Why wouldn't you go Echoing Depths, Lotus Field? That would have made more sense, right? Am I crazy? Oh, I guess that's just lethal, isn't it? No, that's 16. They're shy. GSC for 2? Oof. Yeah, I'm just confused here why they would not just go for the full combo. I mean, that tells me that they may not be well experienced with Titan. Because, yeah, Depths, Lotus Field would get them another Mirror Pool. And then with that bridge, you'd be able to go Bounce Land and T-West, the Pact, for Analyst. Analyst would then set off the infinite combo. So they very much could have just won this turn. I'll concede. There's nothing else I can really do here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. I'd be short of Emrakul. Ugin doesn't get me there either. So, we'll concede. Cut Gemstone, bring back Rumble. And I think that should be good. Alright, on the play for game 3. Rumble, Lantern, Sphere, Wastegate. If we draw into a temple, it's fantastic, otherwise it's really rough. I'm gonna mulligan. This is looking more promising. What we pitch, though, is the question. K-Command's not castable right now. I guess it is with between Karplusin and Saga. But I mean, I'm thinking turn 1 we go Stirrings, turn 2 Saga Rumble. Yeah, let's do that. Pitch the K-Command. Yeah, so we'll go Karplusin, Stirrings. There's Blade. But I'm thinking we probably just want to go Flesh Rake, because double Flesh Rake can get pretty lethal pretty quickly. We'll pass. We draw into an E-Temp, we probably just go E-Temp. Green, Arboreal Grazer, play Saga? No. Bounce land bounces the Vestige. So they're just trying to ramp then. Draw. There's E-Temp. Like I said, we found E-Temp, we're playing the Flesh Rake. And pass. And pass. 3 Spelunking. GSC 2 for Oof. That's fine with what our plan is. So in that case, I'm thinking we go Rumble first, then Flesh Rake. Yes, Saga. Trigger. Rumble. I suppose we'll grab another E-Temp here. Trigger, always yield. Flesh Rake. Trigger, always yield. And at that point, pass and full. No reason to attack with the oof. I'll pass in full. 1, 2, 2 types in yard, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4 short of Emrakul. I mean, a K command here might actually be lethal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 2, 10 plus 2. Close. It would be 12 damage, I'm pretty sure. No, it'd be 14, because 2 times 2, 4, plus 10, 14. Yeah, they'd be at 3. And I guess we could get rid of the oof at that point. Most likely what will happen here is that we'll Saga, make a construct, hit them for 2, and hold up Grove of the Burned Willows. Or hold up a Sage, rather, instead of playing the Temple. Most likely going to be the case. Attack with oof. I'll take the 2 down to 16. That's fine. Red for Fire Spout. Shoot. Yeah, I was worried that might be the case. Fire Magic, not even Fire Spout. Okay. Stirrings. Trigger. I'll cast Stirrings. There's Blade of Bloodchief, there's Haywire Might, and a K command. I'm gonna grab the K command, but I'm gonna hold up the Seiju as well as a construct. Yeah, Fire Magic hurt. Dryad of the Elysian Grove, we can actually destroy you next turn, so that's a non-issue. Gruul Turf. Picks up cave, plays cave. Go to end step. Make a construct. Delighted Halfling. So Kozak's command is mana neutral. So we'd be able to go... This will add another type. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2 short of Emrakul. I mean, Boseiju can be held to hit either to Dryad or something else. 1, 2. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold Boseiju. 1, 2, 3, 4. The problem that I see here is that they just have the Titan. They can play the Titan. But that might be a good reason to hold up the Boseiju. So we need at least green here, which we can actually hold with a Springleaf Drum. Make a construct. Springleaf Drum. E-Temp. And there's no point in attacking them. I'll pass at this point. We have a K-Command X3 or Boseiju available. Alright, let's see what they got. Six. Non-land permanent cards in your graveyard have Retrace. Okay. So you can cast it from yard. Okay, that resolves. So this has Retrace as well. Non-land permanent cards. Okay, so in Fire Magic doesn't, but Oof does. Understood. In that case, I'm going to K-Command here. I'm going to Ramp Exile. Or Ramp Scryjal, rather. X equals 4. And done. Another K-Command and Bobble. So I am thinking Bobble allows me to attack over 6 in Dryad. So bottom the forest, top and draw. And draw. So Bobble will make it so that they can't cast Pact, which is relevant. Let's attempt to attack over Dryad and 6. Blocks with the Grazer. I don't think there's any reason to cast the Halfling right now. We have a K-Command 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll hold both Boseiju and K-Command. And again on end step, we will K-Command if needed. Grazer has Retrace, they go to combat. We could get rid of 6, but I'm not too worried about that right now. Interesting. Mill. There's Aftermath Analyst. You could pick up Otawara or Saga. Not too worried about Analyst right now. Picks up Otawara. I'll take the 4. Down to 11. There wouldn't be much in the way of a point of Aftermath Analyst here, would there? Not that I can think of. Otawara for 3 can bounce anything, since they have 1 legendary. Could bounce a Construct, I suppose. Could bounce Bauble, so that way they can Pact. But that wouldn't make much sense. I'd want to do that on my end step. Beseiju. Plays Otawara. Could be... whatchamacallit? Scape Shift. That's 5. Plays Beseiju Otawara. If they had a Titan, I feel like they would have played Titan prior to combat. Again, if they go for a Valakut line, we could just Beseiju the Dryad. So that's a non-issue if they go Scape Shift and then try and go Valakut. They have only 3 cards in hand. What are they thinking about? I mean, if they have a GSC, they can GSC for 6 for Titan. But again, I feel like they would have done that before combat. If they have Scape Shift, they can Scape Shift and try and go for a Valakut line to kill me. Not knowing we are holding a Beseiju. I guess they could Fire Magic and deal 3 to each creature. No, that wouldn't be enough to kill my constructs. So what's the thought process here? I'm trying to figure out the line that they're going for. Urza's Cave doesn't do anything. 1, 2, 3, 4 types in yards, so they do have Delirium online. I don't think they have enough to go for anything of substance with Shifting Woodland. Like I said, end step, I'm going to K command X equals 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And go digging. With that, we should be able to find something of value. Opponent lost connection to the game. Alright, not sure if maybe they truly DC'd or what, but we'll be back once they've returned. Looks like opponent has returned. Their clock has been ticking away. Still trying to figure out what line they could have by tapping that mana. Playing the Ottawara Besieger, they could have attacked my constructs. And the only thing I can think of here would be a Scape Shift. That'd be my only thought. Yeah, I feel like this is Scape Shift. And then we just Besiege you the Dryad. Yep, Scape Shift will resolve. They'll sack all their lands. They'll grab Valakut, Vesuva. Trying to think if they'll have enough mana for like Retrace for the Aftermath Analyst, but even then. Because they have 4. Guess they would only need 4 more of Escape Shift. But they would need to be untapped mana. And this all comes into play tapped. Echoing Depths. Echoing Depths becomes a Crumbling Vestige. No. Alright, so then we're just going to, because all this should be targeting me, the Seiju Dryad. So green, tap, sack, Dryad down. Finds a land. You don't have any more mountains. Yep. So what else do you got? And then Simic Growth Chamber picks up what? So you have access to 8, 9 mana. Okay. Paying cost. GSC for 6. Okay. Titan. We only have a K command X equals 2. So we can't Besiege you the Titan yet. Oh, not Besiege you, K command the Titan yet. So what do you grab with Titan? It's already post. Because if you had done this beforehand on main phase 1, you could have hasted the Titan with a Haemir. Shifting Woodland. 2. 2 for Oof. Oof is fine. Draw. traverse. So that means I have access to Emrakul. Oh, so I just win, right? Because I should be able to just ping them. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Can I just make that work? Yeah, we should be able to make this work without an issue. So traverse. 1 damage to me. Grab Emrakul. Our turn, comrade. Pass. Pact. Okay. Draw. Escape shift. So in that case, what we can do here is I can... So we can scape shift target Dryad, right? And then... Or shifting woodland target Dryad, then scape shift? Yeah, that should be correct, because 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say. And then scape shift because they'll become all types. So we just need to make sure we have access to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So we delirium. Land becomes target permanent in graveyard. We want Dryad. So green, green, blue, red. Shifting Woodlands becomes Dryad. And then we'll just go scape shift. So go green, green, scape shift. Sacrifice any number. We'll sacrifice... I guess that's a good question. I'm not sure how many are left. I mean, you run, like, I don't know, 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So 9, 10. Yeah, you should have plenty still. So let me see here. Can I know which ones I'm sacrificing? Does it specify? Freaking hell. Why is it doing this? This is annoying. It's not telling me whether or not I'm sacrificing something. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna win regardless. I don't know what's selected, what's not. Oh, okay. Annoying. That's fine. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna escape shift, sacrifice it all. It's all gone. I'm gonna say fail to find at this point. Go to combat. Attack with oof. Why is the crumbling vestige there? I don't even know anymore. That the UI is annoying for that. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna attack with all. Titan trigger, 6 trigger. I guess I should have probably Titaned first, but c'est la vie. 6 trigger, mill. I'm gonna say no lands. Titan trigger. I'm gonna say yes. I'll go Lotus Field, so they have absolutely nothing. Triggers. And triggers. So we will sacrifice, and opponent concedes. Yeah, basically, I'm just going to block the oof. I'm then going to sacrifice the Vexing Bulb. I'm going to cast the Pact. They'll have no lands that pay for Pact. I wanted to go out the other way, which was to kill Dryad and Valakut, but it wouldn't tell me what was selected and what wasn't. So I'm like sitting here and going, I don't know what I clicked. Thankfully, it didn't matter. We got there regardless. So I'm happy with that at the very least. All right. Well, with that being said, we'll be back for match number 3. Alright, we're back for match 3 on the draw for game 1. This hand is weird. If we draw into a green source, which we have 11 of, then we potentially just have a win, right? We go Saga, Springleaf, green source, Rumble, Basking, Broodscale, Blade Equip, Ballista. If I don't draw any of those cards, though, I just lose. I guess if we just draw into any untapped land, that of which we have 21, we can play Ballista, though. So let's say we hit 21, we have 2 draws, let's keep. This is a bit sketch, admittedly. Skips their draw. Power plant, so it's Tron. So we have to play around Karn. Okay, command's not what I wanted to see. Okay, we have the drum, we pass, and we pray we draw into a land. 11 hits for green, 21 hits in total. Blue Tron. Like my odds even less with that. Paying cost for Talisman of Dominance, and draw. Trigger, bobble. That's a problem. Play bobble. I feel like every time I do this and I try and play the odds with one-landers, I always get hyper-punished. Force, Pitch of Subtlety, we'll pass. I'm so SOL right now. I mean, I'll grab a Haywire Might off Saga, so I have a creature at least. Draw. Jesus. Cost. No shot you. What is this? K command X3? Okay. Why do that now though? I'm confused. 0 in hand. 1 top, 2 bottom draw. 1 in hand. Haywire Might. Green. Rumble. What? How did we hit absolutely nothing? I suppose grab the Flesh Rake. What is happening? I'll pass at this point. So we saw how many cards? 3 for draws. 7? We saw 7 cards. And found 0 lands. Uh-huh. Talisman, 1 card in hand. Map. Tron land. Okay, plays the tower. Yep, 1 card in hand. Paying cost, map. Finds other Tron lands. You can play Ugin next turn for what it's worth. Draw, land. What is happening? What is going on? Do I traverse for a land here? What? Green. Tap spawn? Do we just traverse for another green? Do we Ancient Stirrings? I think we Ancient Stirrings. Try and find another land. Yeah. Yeah? Stirrings. Okay, we found another land. Would love that blade, but I'm not gonna go for it. Gonna go forest. Play a forest. My second land this entire time. 4, 5, 6, 7. Ancient Stirrings. I suppose we'll just go for another land at this rate. Maybe a Saga, so we can go for Blade. That seems right. Saga. At this point, I suppose attacking, there's no reason not to. 4 types in Yard. Down to 19. You'll play Ugin next turn, so you'll have 2. Return Ugin. And pass. So I have 2 turns to win. Definitely doable. There's Ugin. Yep, you found another map. Jesus. Finding all the maps. Plus Ugin, draw a card. 1 in hand. What do you find? Potentially nothing of relevance. Draw. Emrakul. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Saga trigger. Malevolent Rumble. Trigger. Or not trigger, but it doesn't resolve. Ufta. Another Saga. So I'm thinking that I want to play them. We can K command X equals 1. We can play Flesh Rake. We can traverse. What do we traverse for, though? Nothing really of value here. Let's start by going Haywire Might, attack Ugin. They'll block the spawn, I imagine. Yep, makes sense to me. Sack. Crack map. Find a tower, I imagine. Otawara. That's a problem. So, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. I'm trying to figure out, there's no artifacts in Yard, right? Ballista would be 12. I will traverse now. Because my thought here is this. They're clearly going for Ugin ult. I'm going to grab an Eldrazi temp. I'm going to pass. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're 1 short, though. Shoot. How do I... K commands mana neutral. Plays the Otawara. Zoo. This is a Portent of Calamity, so I'm just dead, I think. Yeah, the Vexing Bubble would have been nice if that would have resolved. With hard, please. Actually, you kind of did. Yeah, genuinely, you kind of did. Huh. Wow. That's kind of shocking. Six cards enter exile. Want you just play Ugin plus again? Cast stock up. Makes sense. Eight cards in hand, though. Draw. Chrysalis. Saga Trigger. E-Temp. So I am tempted here. The question is whether or not they have a force, right? I'm tempted to K command to try and grab for a blade. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We can Chrysalis, which is a -2. You have the Saga, which can grab the blade. They have so much mana, though. I'm wondering if maybe it's just right to play Chrysalis, hold command, and go from there. So 2, 3, red tap, 2, Chrysalis. But it goes never whiffed that hard before. Yeah, I mean, that was really bad. So Chrysalis resolves. We have K command, X equals what? 1, 2, so 3 if needed. We could Haywire Might attack Ugin. I'm not sure that's necessary though. I'm gonna pass. And leave it at that. And hold K command. Because we were afraid of a force. Ugin plus 9 in hand. You have all the mana in the world. Second tower. Is it another portent? 1 with the multiverse. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a card from your hand or library without paying its mana cost. Resolves. Of course, I can't activate the Haywire Might. There's Emrakul, so you'll get an extra turn. Annihilator 6. So I'm not dead yet. Keywords. The thing is they can... Oh, but they're gonna Ugin alt. Never mind, I am dead. I'm gonna concede here. Yeah, we'll just concede at this point because they're going to get another turn after this one. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Never mind, we'll concede. So this is Eldrazi Tron. Lost for game 1. I guess maybe it's just Tron, actually. Just Tron. Yeah, it's blue Tron. I don't think they have temples. They play the labs, though, obviously. So, Damp Sphere in... Wastegate? Wastegate might be right. Cut Gemstone. Chrysalis is okay. It threatens board state. Ugin is pretty hard for them to deal with, I imagine, though they do play Force. Force and Subtlety do make Ugin a bit worse. I'm just trying to think of whether or not Wastecape's good. I mean, it gets rid of Talismans, which is not bad. So maybe Wastecape Thief is decent. They go into exile, so I don't think Cage does anything. So we can go 1, 2, 1, 1. Vexing Bubble, yes. Might, yes. If we were to keep it like this, we'd have to cut a Chrysalis, which I think is fine. Yeah, we'll run it like this then. I think we have enough hate for what they have. As we cut 2 Ballista, 1 Flesh Rake, we still have 3, 8, 9 threats. Yeah. On the play for game 2. I'll keep. I'd love to see a land off top, of course. So we can go Forest, Halfling. At worst, we can play Sphere or Blade next turn. Maybe better to play Broodscale? Yeah. Land. In that case, I will attempt to resolve Broodscale. Consign. Stern Scolding. I'll play the Blade in that case and then pass. I'd like a land off top for Chrysalis. Right now I don't need to worry about Sphere. Draw. Rumble. No matter what, I can't play Chrysalis, so let's Rumble. Though I'd like a green source still. So green, colorless, Rumble. There's Blade, there's Drum, there's Temple. I'll grab the E-Temp. Play Temp. And see if Sphere will resolve. And pass. Let's see if it's a consign. It does not. Okay. So at least shuts down their Tron lands if and when we get there. Stock up. Yep. Next turn we can cast Chrysalis. Red, colorless, green, colorless. So they're probably looking for a solution to Damp Sphere. I imagine they have a way to bounce it back to hand at the very least. Alright. And draw. Forest. We'll play the Forest. So, red, colorless, green, green. Triggers, always yield. Do you have a consign? Looks like you do. Yep. The trigger or the body? The body. In that case, I'll attack for 1 and pass. Comes down to 18. They have 4. There is Tron. Stock up. Probably has cast Ballista for 2 next turn. We could cast it for more, I suppose, but we then risk losing it to a number of counter spells. Alright. Draw. K command. K command is good. The question is whether or not we want to hold for K command X3, if we want to bait out counterspell with Ballista. Let's bait out a counterspell with Ballista. X equals 2. At the very least, we're looking at a K command X2 next turn. Paying cost. There's consign. Okay. Do we hold up K command X2 or attack? I'm thinking we just hold. Might be a world to recast it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Actually 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we are short 1 for Emrakul. I think I just hold that. I probably should have attacked with half lane in the grand scheme. Flesh Rake. Does Flesh Rake resolve? 6 in hand. Do you have more counter magic? Flesh Rake resolves. I will pass. You now have a K command X equals 3, and it will deal 4 damage to opponent. That is significant. 5. K command. Scry, draw, ramp. They could have force. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could K command now and force check. So I'm thinking ramp exile to try and lessen their odds of portent. Oh, but we are... Okay, we're gonna go to upkeep. I'm gonna K command. Because I want to just limit the possibility of portent of calamity. X equals 3. Paying cost. Dismember target Flesh Rake. Always yield. And I'll pass at this point. So Flesh Rake down. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So portent would be 6, 7. Forget what the best number is. I think it's 8. There's Talisman, 4 in hand, and draw. Chrysalis. Red, colorless, green, green. Chrysalis. Does it resolve? Looking like a no. Subtlety. Alright. Do we want this on top is the question. It's not the best card, but I also don't like the idea of getting smacked in the face by a subtlety every turn. So yes, I'll put it on top. We could equip Blade to Halfling. We're not attacking. I'll pass. Yeah, I'm not liking my odds right now. They're just building resources through Sphere, and we'll just portent at some point. Because pretty much if they cast Emrakul, they win. Because I'll be down to 14. Cast Emrakul through portent. Well, I guess you will have to hold 1 mana back to do so. Wonder if they'll realize that. Eyes wonder. These have been some long matches today. I've been recording 2 videos a day because I'm actually going away for a business trip on Sunday. So I'm trying to get videos recorded in advance for you all. Flute. Flute naming what? I guess blade? I mean, I guess I'm glad that I equipped it. Red, colorless, green, green. Triggers. Would have loved to have equipped it to chrysalis, mind you. Paying cost. Consign. Yes. So you replicate. I mean, I guess I could make the halfling into a 7/7. I'm pretty sure I have 7 types in yard at this point, right? No, probably 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we're missing 7. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we can sack 3 of these. Attack with halfling. Alright. Triggers. And pass. And pass. The combat. 3 down to 10. End step. Draw. Grove. No reason to cast that, or play it rather. Attack with halfling. Do you have a K command? No? Alright. Yeah, K command will get halfling, dismember will not. Do you block? You do not block. So in that case, again, I'm currently looking at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I need to hold 2. So sack 1, trigger. 2, trigger. 3, trigger. 4, trigger. Down to 6, so you need to block next turn. At this point, I'll pass. And pass. So I have lethal on board. Plays Urza Tower. Attacks for 3. Bold move, God, and if I have removal for the spawn, you lose. Down to 7. End step. Draw. Flesh Raker. Go to combat. Attack with halfling. Block of spawn. Trigger. Second main phase. Flesh Rake. Pass and full. Paying cost. Otawara. Oh no. I'm in danger. Do you have a portent? I think you do. Uh-oh. Alright, I'm gonna need you to whiff again. Oh, you just have the emerald. Cool, I'm just dead. Okay, regardless. Yeah, I will concede. Unfortunate. Alright. I mean, they were just waiting to try and find a way to get rid of the damn sphere that entire time. Oh, they also had the K command. Interesting. I imagine maybe they just drew No, if they would have just drawn into the K command, then why wouldn't they have auto-warred earlier? Well, I guess they could have picked up auto-war the turn before and then drawn into the K command. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right. Well, we'll be back for match 4. All right, and we're back for match 4 on the play for game 1. We can make this work. I will keep. So I'm thinking Cavernous Souls, Haywire Might. That way if we draw into Temple and they have counter magic, we can play Temple the Flesh Rake. Yes. Cavernous Souls, Name Eldrazi. Haywire Might, pass. And if not, then we go Karplusen into Rumble. Okay. So now we're force checking, it looks like. One card on top, draw, Grove. I'll play Grove. Nope, I don't want Basking Broodscale. Not yet. Green. Flesh Rake or land. We already have land, so grabbing a second Flesh Rake sounds good. Go to combat. Attack with might. And pass. So I'll be able to go Flesh Rake into Flesh Rake. Another Rumble. Flesh Rake. Combat. Could this be Blink, and could I be playing into Ophelia? There's a possibility. I'm going to pass at this point. Yeah, I don't want to just play into Ophelia. Maybe there's also an argument for me to have held up the K command for that reason. If this is Esper Blink. Maybe. Meticulous Archive. Thinking that it's not Esper Blink, thinking that it is either Oculus or Murktide. But that means no Fatal Push, otherwise they probably would have pushed the Flesh Rake. I'm thinking that we sack the spawn for the Flesh Rake and then Rumble. Is that a frog? If it's a frog, we could then force check. That is a thought. Saga. Saga trigger. So we could force check here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's tempting. We also can play the Broodscale. We can play Broodscale or Rumble. And we can still have enough for the frog. In that case, I'm going to cast Broodscale. Trigger Flesh Rake, always yield. Always yield. ETB. Trigger. I'm going to hold for K command and force check. No attacks. Opponent's thinking here. Because I think at the end of the day, I'm likely just to kill them with Flesh Rake more than I am the combo, I think. I'm gonna ramp Exile, so it's mana neutral. And done. Triggers. Actually, it's mana positive. We'll pass. Do you have the force? No force. Flush Rake triggers. Alright, down to 13. Plains. Basic plains. Solitude. Oh, shoot, this might be Goryo's. Solitude what, though? Broodscale or Flush Rake? If you have an EFM, you can do both, of course. Evoke. EFM. Yep. So this is Goryo's then. That's the answer to that question. What this is. Late to dinner, yep. So Broodscale out, Flush Rake out. Then Rebound hits Haywire Might. Yep. Okay. Rebound. We'll just pass in full. Do you want to rebound the Might? Don't think it's really necessary. Three in hand. I feel like if you had Goryo's targets in hand, you would have pitched it to Frog. Really, going after a spawn. Interesting. Interesting. 1/2 black Overlord. White. What are we doing here? Blue, black, Tainted Indulgence. Yep. Okay, they have the Troxa. That's concerning. Colosseum is fine. Next turn, they could have Goryo's, though, is the problem. There's Blade. Okay. Malevolent Rumble. Green. Sack Spawn. Rumble. Whiff. In that case, I will grab Saga. Play Saga. One, two, three. Flush Rake. Trigger. And at this point, I'll pass. We can make a 2/2 construct to block the Solitude. Hopefully they don't have Goryo's in hand. White, black, Goryo's. Yes, that will resolve. Atraxa digs 10 deep. Sees the EFM, sees a Solitude, sees a Prismatic Ending, and I imagine Watery Grave. Yeah, because they can EFM the Atraxa, they keep it on board. They're going to go up to 20. I'll go down to 14 at the minimum. Or, yeah, down to 17 at the minimum. Watergrave, EFM, Solitude. Why didn't they grab Prismatic? Isn't that sorcery? Weird. Begin combat. Attack, attack. Make a construct. Always yield. Trigger. I guess, yeah, that's right. It's going to be a 3-3 because of the Haywire Might. Right. Block. Solitude down. Blade triggers. They still have a Solitude in hand, though. Ephem Atraxa. Another 10, starting after Watery Grave. That's actually pretty bad, honestly. I mean, picks up another Solitude. Solitude Thoughtseize ending land? Yeah. That's what would make sense to me. Because they need to make sure that if I grab a Broodscale that I just don't win on the spot. Solitude Delta ending. Solitude Delta ending. Plays Delta. Alright, Goryo's trigger. No dice though. 7 in hand, for which we know. Oofda. In that case, 1, 2. Make a construct. Trigger Flesh Rake. Go searching. Bobble's not doing too much here. We could go for a second blade. Springleaf Drum allows me to generate some more colored mana, which is nice, but also not really necessary. It does allow me to keep the land in hand to feign that we have something, I suppose. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Springleaf Drum. Saga Trigger. And at this point we'll pass. Not much we can do. Go to Delta Fetch. Shout a Backstreet. Yep. Puts Force in the yard, and I'll pass. Ephem. So they could very well cast Solitude and then Ephem it with a rebound. That would make sense to me. They do not. Weird. It's going to be pretty difficult for me to deal with as Atraxa. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't even have enough for next turn to cast an Emrakul. What type am I missing in Yard? Might be Artifact, actually. That would make sense. Goes the combat. We'll take 7 down to 10. They'll go up to 27. They can hardcast Solitude. They have a Prismatic Ending. Flooded Strand. Seven cards in hand, 3 unknown. Black Thoughtseize, great baitmate. Unfortunately, Atraxa has Vigilance, so even though we're going to have like 2 6/6 constructs, it's not going to mean much. End step. Tap. Make a construct. Drain you for 1. And draw Ancient Stirrings. I mean, they have the Solitude, so even if I were to attempt to go for Broodscale, it's not going to matter. That's the problem. So in that case, make a construct. Vaccine Bauble. I guess maybe I should have grabbed Vaccine Bauble earlier rather than the Spring Leaf. I forget whether or not that was before or after I realized they had Solitude. That actually may have been a misplay on my part, now I think about it. Ancient Stirrings. 2 unknowns in hand. Thing is, I can't even attack here. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. So the best we can do is Writhing Chris. Play Cavernous Souls. Again, there's no point in attacking. We'll be at 3. I'll pass at this point. They'll fetch, they'll cast Solitude. Trying to think what my outs are, if any. Yeah, it's very possible I should have grabbed the Bauble earlier. Could have probably played around that Solitude, I think. I'll have to look back at the recording, but I think I misplayed. Really, not playing the Solitude. That's intriguing. Now we could pop Bauble, as that would be the 7th type in Yard. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'd still be short 1. Yeah. Damn. Prismatic Ending? White, black, blue. Paying cost, ending blade. Yep, that resolves. Avoiding up Solitude. Flooded Strand. 1 unknown in hand. Draw. Chrysalis number 2. So green, red, colorless, colorless. Yes. Unfortunately, I can't play both. Triggers. Triggers. Okay, so I have a way to block the Troxa. Unfortunately, my constructs are now 6/6s because they got rid of the blade. Also, they use? They use the prismatic, right? So I actually have 2 unknowns in hand. I can make Chrysalis a 5/5 or 5 power. As to not die, I'll be at 1. Fetch Flooded Strand. Plays the Solitude. Yep. ETB targets. Trigger 1. Always yield. 2. 3. And pass. So again, I'm not dead yet. Holding on by the skin of my teeth. Blue-black frog. Tainted Indulgence. Draws 2. No pitching. And I never said I was going to make this easy for them, so... Down to 1. No blocks. Up to 33. Thoughtseize, that's unfortunate. Because that was going to get me another turn. Draw. Broodscale. Broodscale doesn't cut it. Crack the bottom. Draw a card. Halfling doesn't cut it either. Yep, no blockers, no way to win. I will concede. Alright, so loss for game 1. This is Goryo's. Let's move on to game 2. So we want Grafdigger's Cage, we want Soul Guide Lantern, Dismember, Wasescape. Haywarmite can go. We didn't see any Leyline bindings. Vexing Bauble stays. Cut 1, 2, 1, 1. Gemstone. And I'm thinking Ugin. Run it back like this. And against Force decks and Subtlety decks, it seems right to cut Ugin. Yeah, I do think I did mess up. Like I said, I'll have to look at the recording. You can let me know in the comments if I did, if I should have grabbed the bauble over the drum. I think that was the case, and it just slipped my mind that we were playing around Solitude. It would have made their lives a little bit harder. Not by much, but a little bit. Alright, on the play for game 2. I mean, we'll keep. Need lands is what I need, though. Draw. They also kept their opening 7. And pass. And pass. Let's see if I get ultra punished for keeping 1. Gullah Shrine, Prismatic Ending, or Thoughtseize? Thoughtseize. Takes the Broodscale. The blades are redundant. We only have 3 or 4 Broodscales in decks, so taking the Broodscale is the right choice here. Yep. Draw. Saga Trigger. That worked out in my favor. Ballista for 1. And Blade. Well, I guess we should worry about a Wrath the Skies. Yeah, I mean, Wrath the Skies for 0 here wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Seize takes Chrysalis. Yep. I mean, if we get a Broodscale off top, we can make a million power toughness tokens. Draw. Stirrings, trigger. Looking for a land here. No land, but there is the Broodscale. Yeah, we'll grab the Broodscale. And we'll go to combat. I suppose equip Blade the Halfling. And pass. And hold. Draw. Trigger. Float. So Vexing Bauble ensures that Broodscale won't die to Solitude. That's a thought. Vexing Bauble. Broodscale. The other thought is to play the Flesh Rake ahead of the Broodscale. Otherwise, they could have a push. A push would be rough. We'd need to find a land. Let's start with Flesh Rake then. And pass, go to combat. Down to 10. This way we can continue to pressure their board. Especially as they're currently... I mean, this is fine. They're down to 8. So Broodscale out, Wayscape Battle Mage. So Blade of the Blood Chief, trigger. Always yield. Always yield. So I could Ballista Ping, trigger Blade. Tap Halfling, no. Because my thought is if we could play the Wayscape. If I go Blade, it'll be 2. Yeah, actually. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down to 1? I believe so. Triggers. Always yield. Actually, it'll be 4. So I think this is lethal. Yeah. And they can't Solitude, so this is lethal damage. Opponent skips it up. Alright. Opponent kept a risky hand, clearly. Alright, let's go to game 3. Yeah, the main benefit of the Wayscape is it can bounce back the Troxar Frog to hand. We want the gemstone to be cut a Chrysalis? I think so. Alright. Let's run it back like this. The other option is to cut the Wayscape entirely, keep Chrysalis, Ballista. Maybe we do that. Keep Flesh. Alright, keep Ballista, Chrysalis, and Flesh Rake. Like that. No, probably cut the Flesh Rake, keep a Rumble. Yeah, let's do that. Not entirely certain the Wayscape will be good enough. On the draw, I mean, we have the Broodscale. We have the Ballista as a payoff. We have Dismember and Saga. I will keep. I will pass. Backstreet. Trigger. Yep. it on top. Draw. Saga trigger. Pass. And hold. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize resolves. Takes the Broodscale. That would make the most sense. Takes Dismember. Interesting. Draw. Saga trigger. Forest Stirrings. There's Graph Diggers. We'll grab Graph Diggers and cast. And pass. You have a force. I mean, if we draw a payoff off top, we can go for the kill next turn. Otherwise, there's a thought to just kind of delay and go Vexing Bauble. And pass. Fetch Marsh Flats at 17. For a blue source, I imagine. Hallowed Fountain, yep. Shocking. White, white, black. Could be Wrath of Skies X1. If it is, that's a problem. Yep. Yep. Okay. 4 in hand, draw. Writhing Chris. So we could go Saga. The only downside is we can't play the Writhing Chris, but we would still get towards our overall goal. Is Chrysalis better than Saga next turn? Probably not. I'll go Saga, trigger. I do want to pressure the board, so I will Ballista X1. And pass. And hold. Four in hand, draw. Beseiju. E-temp. Go to combat. If they have subtlety, they could flash that in and that would be a problem. So I'm just gonna hold back then. Fetch Delta. Meticulous Archive. There's also some thought to grabbing a Soul Guide Lantern off a Saga. Make a construct, grab Soul Guide, play Chrysalis. Maybe. Keeps it on top. Overrun Tomb Shock to 12. I mean, this is clearly Solitude that they can hardcast. Make a token. Trigger. Make a token. Black. Black, white, green. Okay. Solitude? Do you Solitude the constructs? That's fine. Makes a 2/2. We'll grab a Soul Guide. I guess we could go Blade, as we do have a second Broodscale, though. It's a thought. I'm more worried about the Goryo setup. Eat the Wrath. Plays Forest and pass. Four in hand. No attacks. Draw. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go to combat 11. Attack. Could be an EFEM. Yep. Targets the construct. In that case, Chrysalis. Red, green. Triggers. Always yield. Do you have a consign? No consign. Play Beseiju. And pass. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Solitude, EFEM, Chrysalis. And if they attack, we block with Ballista, ping them for 1 to 11. Well, I guess they can attack, right? Right. Black, Thoughtseize, of course. Takes the Emrakul. That's annoying. That is annoying. Down to 10. Passing, 3 in hand. Draw. E-temp. Jeez. Cast Broodscale. Do we cast the second Broodscale is the question. I'll adapt. Always yes, always yield. Yes. We can always start beefing up the Ballista, would be my initial thought. We'll pass. No attacks. Black push, blue indulgence. I do want to think here, if they pitch a Goryo's target, no, we can't crack the Soul Guide now. The problem becomes if they have double Goryos. Solitude pitch, that's fine. Undercity Sewers. Grizzlebrand. Do you have a double Goryo's hand is the next question. I know about the second Broodscale. Would love to see a K command here. Flesh Rake. Flesh Rake. Cast Broodscale. Flesh Rake trigger. Ephem. In response, put a counter. 1, 2, 3. Black push. Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. Ping you for 1. Yeah, that's not great. Solitude will eat the Flesh Rake, and the Rebound will eat a Broodscale. Alright, not much to be done about that, unfortunately. Blue. Consign? Yeesh. Alright. I mean, you're on a time crunch now. Yeah. Alright. I guess I should have attacked there reasonably. Put him down to 6. As in not attacking, yeah. Probably would have been correct. 1 card in hand. And draw. Stirrings. Blade of Blood Chief. Glaring Fleshraker Saga. Saga will make constructs, so I'm thinking we go Saga. Saga trigger. Pass. One in hand. Passing. If you attack, we block, we sack. And then hold. A life gain for you. Black, blue, frog, pass. Draw. Trigger. Dismember. I will pass. I mean, if they have a force, they have a force, so. Pass, hold up the Saga, hold up Dismember. I imagine they float the frog. Floats the frog. Goes the combat. Make a construct. Go to blocks. Block. Dismember. You have a force. No force. Solitude down. They're up to 12. Draw. K command. Solid. I will make a construct. And I think at this point we just hold the K command almost indefinitely. Blade or Bobble? Let's grab Blade. And then hold. Tainted Indulgence resolves. Discards a card. Surprised we haven't seen an Emperor Bones yet. Mendine and Yard, so they can flashback. We have a double Goryo's hand yet. There's Goryo's. Soul Guide Lantern, sacrifice, exile. Goryo is number 2. In response, I'm going to scry, draw, exile, cards in yard. And we have access to 3, so Grizzlebrand, Faithful Mending, really doesn't do much else, so Tainted Indulgence. Alright, do you have a consign? You do not. Bottom all. Opponent just goes F. Yeah, that's reasonable. Alright. You drew into the burn. Draw. Flesh Rake. Go to combat. Down to 10. Cast Flesh Rake. No reason to play the Burn Willows. Equip the construct and pass. Five. Solitude. Wrath for 3. Okay. Blade triggers won't matter. And draw. Chrysalis. Red, green, 2. Always yield. And pass. And hold. Paying cost for... Could hardcast an Atroxa. Atroxa. Trigger. Solitude, Ephem. Solitude, Ephem. Land? Maybe Thoughtseize? Solitude, land, tainted. Alright. You know all 3 cards in hand. Stirrings. Looking for a K command. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7, correct? It is. Kozilek's command. Land. In that case, exile, ramp. And I think this is lethal damage. You know all 3. Done. Always yield. And I think that's the game. Trigger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Go to combat. And hit you for 10. GG's. Woof. Talk about a grindy matchup. But not bad. I'll take it. We'll be back for match number 5. We're back for match 5 on the draw for game 1. Let's take a look, see what our opponent's playing. We are keeping and pass. We're going to go turn 1, halfling, Wooded Foothills, passing, okay? Forest, halfling, and pass. Wooded Foothills, fetch for... Okay, so it looks like zoo. Okay. Fetch, Flooded Strand, you play Kavu. Steambench Shock. Ragavan. Draw. In that case, yeah, we're thinking K-Command here. Planeswamp Forest, so they don't have blue up, so I don't need to worry about a Stubborn Denial. We can play around it right now as they don't have any 4 mana, though they could have Consign main. It wouldn't be the first time I've seen that. We also could go Ballista X1. I'll play around the Stubborn. No attacks. Pain cost. Binding. In that case, harder to play around the Stubborn, so I'm going to ramp, I'm going to exile. I guess actually, Leyline Binding, ETBs. Target's halflane, tap halflane, and now ramp exile. X equals 2, Ragavan down, and pass. And hold. Temple Garden Shock to 14, paying cost for Scion of Draco, leaving blue up. So it could be a Stubborn Denial once again. In that case, I'm going to cast Flesh Rake. Could also have a Bolt. Could have a Consign. Consign Bolt is what we're most worried about, probably. And cast Flesh Rake. Trigger, always yield. Do you have a Bolt? You have a Bolt. Yep, not much can be done there, so we'll pass and hold. And hold. 2 in hand, Draco. Would love to see a Writhing Chrysalis here. Arena of Glory, Bolt, 1 in hand, and 4 to face, down to 16. We have K-Command next turn. Halfling. We can hold up K-Command, X equals 3. Again, the only issue is that we'd be playing around a Stubborn Denial. I'll hold. Two in hand, Thundering Falls, Surveil trigger, keeps it on top. What do you have in your hand? Could be Tribal Flames, could be a number of things. Alright, let's K-Command, X equals 3, ramp Scry Draw. Let's see if it's a Stubborn Denial, like I think it is. It resolves, surprising. Ballista Chrysalis Saga. I'm gonna bottom Ballista. Top, and draw. And draw. Saga trigger. Red, green, and Eldrazi Temp. Always yield. Could be a Leyline Binding. Paying cost for Consign. Son of a... Yeah. Surprised they didn't consign the command then. Interesting. 4, 6, so we're short on Ballista. I'll play the Halfling and then pass. So 0 cards in hand. Ideally, next turn we can Ballista for 8 and ping down to Scion. 1 card in hand. Fable to Mirror Breaker's fine. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can actually ping down... No, we only have 10, not 12. Damn. Eldrazi Temp. So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We could go 5. So that way we can reserve the Ballista. Yeah, on the other hand, I would kind of like to have a construct, but yeah, I think reserving the Ballista is right. X equals 5, 'tis a Ballista. Do we need to ping it down now? Don't think so. No. Don't think there's a reason to do so. We'll hold. Because we can block the Goblin with the token. Ping down the Silent Draco. They keep the card in hand. Be in combat. Attack, attack. Makes a treasure. Ping 1. Two. 3. And 4. Go to blockers, block the Goblin. It'll eat the spawn. I mean, if it was a creature, they would have hasted it, I imagine. One, 2, 3, 4. So we can definitely grow the Ballista if needed and make a construct. Draw. Ooh. Well, now that's interesting. I am going to float. Grow Ballista. The thing is, we only can grow the Ballista once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess we can grow it twice. And it's a little bit dicey, though. I will make a construct. Let me get a construct. I'm thinking Haywire Might, so we can get rid of the Fable. Play Blade of the Bloodchief. Equip Blade of the Bloodchief. Haywire Might the Fable the Mirror Breaker. Trigger the Blade. Gain some life. Grow the Ballista. No reason not to attack with the Halfling. I'll attack. We have a construct to block. Down to 13. And pass. Hasting a creature. Sign of Draco. Yep. I mean, if the last card's a Tribal Flames, I lose. Bolt. You should have bolted the Ballista. Yep. Always yield. Attack for 4, down to 4. We're still very much in danger of dying to Tribal Flames, however. Or now just a hasty Scion. a second Ballista. So we can buff Ballista up to 4. We can Ballista for 1. Okay, so Ballista for 1. I guess we could just go 2, 3. A second Ballista X3. Yes, this will work. So from here, I can attack with Ballista. We ping you, trigger, ping you, trigger 5. So in that case, well, let's see. 4, 5, 5, 4, 2. So, I mean, we have options. This is exerted, so you can't haste. So yes, we'll go 1, 2, dead, trigger. 1, trigger. 1, 2, 3. Trigger, 3. Combat. Down to 10, we can always ping if you have Dash Ragavan. Land, passing, draw. Ancient Stirrings. 1, 4, 4, 7, 8. So we are still short. Stirrings, show me a... Oh, I mean, Broodscale just does it as well. Yeah, because we'll be able to adapt. So I'll just go Broodscale. Down to 3. And then I will equip. I will adapt. And bonus scoops it up. Alright, solid win against Zoo. Thank you, Ballista. Oh, criminy. Alright, so we want Wayscape Battle Mage. We want Dismember. Thief doesn't cut it here. I forget if I want Vexing Ball. No, they don't play Solitude. Haremite's still good. Soul Guide is good. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, and that should be good. Yeah, that should be enough. All right, let's run it back. Long, long league. I still have another video to record after this too. Ooh. So on one hand, we can Dismember Ragavan, Wayscape Battle Mage is decent. We can guarantee the resolution. We have K Command as well for more interaction, sure. Flooded Strand, fetch. Red Source, Ragavan. Isa Ragavan. I want to play around Stumper Denial, so I will play Grow the Burn Willows and Dismember Ragavan. Pass. And pass. Arid Mesa, pass. Blade of the Blood Chief. Is there a world where we can make that work next turn? I don't think so, even if we were to draw into the Broodscale, because the Broodscale, it would be 5 mana. Since we already have the Blade on board, we'll only have access to 3 at most. In that case, I will pass and hold up K command X equals 0 on the off chance that it's relevant. Arid Mesa fetch, Surveil Land, or Triome. It is a Triome, okay. Hold again in case for K command. Arena of Glory could haste a Scion here, but does not. Okay. Rumble. So I'm thinking Grove of the Burn Willows. We can Rumble. We have enough mana to pay for a Stubborn Denial, and we have a blocker in case of a Hasty Ragavan. I think I'll grab an E-Temp then. And I will... I think I'm going to bait here. Well, no. We'll pass. Veal, pass. End step. Interesting. What in the world's in your hand? Fetch Wooded Foothills, the 16. Temple Garden Shock to 14. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not enough. So we'll probably just Wasescape then. Draw. Cavern of Souls. Name Eldrazi. Wasescape, Battle Mage, Kick. So I will green, colorless, colorless, and Kick. That Eden Consign is fine by me. Now, the main thing that I do have genuine concerns about here is if they pitch Flage and haste in a Flage next turn. That would suck. Discard. Yeah, maybe I should have played the Temple. Would have been able to have a X equals 1. Maybe. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Flage. ETB. Targets. Wasescape. 4. I guess it'd only be 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We'd have to draw, not even. I mean, I do think that commanding the Goblin Shaman is correct. Exile, Scry, draw, ramp. I mean, the ramp will save me 3 damage, I suppose. Then we can K command next turn. The main thing is I don't want them to have a blue source for my other K command. So I got Shaman down. Oh, I should have Scryjaw because it's 0. I'm dumb. Dumb. Take 9 down to 7. E-Temp. In that case, ramp, exile, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ramp, exile. Yep, that was unfortunate. X equals 4. And done. Flage down. And pass. Yeah, what I should have done is I think I should have Wasescaped. I should have played the Temple. That way if they command or consigned, it would have been fine. Yeah. Draw. Saga trigger. Thing is they could have a consign now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess I can make it uncounterable. Why am I sweating a consign here? Oop. Tis an Emrakul. Do you have a leyline binding? I'm sorry, friend, but I still get the body. Oh. And pass. Do you have a binding? You do have a binding. Okay. Binding out, hits Emrakul. So he'd love another Wastscape. I guess the Saga can grab a Haywire Might. Yeah. Bolt 4. Do you have a Tribal Flames to end it? Oofda. Yeah, had I played a little bit differently... Yeah, I should have just played the Temple instead of the Cavern of Souls for the Wastscape, because then it would have held up X equals 1 for the Flage to mitigate what I was worried about. Yep. So that was a missequence on my part. Or I guess a misplay. Yeah, misplay. So I will cut the gemstone. And what are we looking for here? I will bring back Rumble and run it back. And since they only had one blue, I mean, they're going to counter the trigger anyways. Yeah. Yeah. That's on me. On the play for game 3. Risky as hell to keep. Especially on the play, I'm going to mulligan. No green sources. I'll keep pitch a Stirrings or pitch a Halfling. Halfling's objectively worse after turn 1 is the main problem. Pitch a Halfling. Play E-Town. Pass. And pass. Desperately need a green source. 100 Foothills, fetch, Ragavan. If so, we're going to K command X equals 1. Yep. And draw. Cavern of Souls. I'll start with Saga here so we can make a construct the following turn. We want to play around a Stumper Denial or a Consign, so Ragavan down now. And pass. And pass. Still missing a green source, however. Might need to go Springleaf. Arid Mesa fetch. Temple Gardens. Wear Tear. That's a bit rough. Draw. Dismember. Cavern of Souls, name Eldrazi. Cast Flesh Rake. Hold up Dismember. You have Bolt. End step, hold. Mountain, paying cost for Flage. Flage ETBs, targets Flesh Rake. Yes, Flesh Rake down. And draw. Green source, please. Thank you. Stirrings. K command. I will K command now. I'm going to ramp XL Yard. And we can actually, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. Let's go 2. We make the same number of spawns regardless. And we exile one more card in case for a second Flage. Hold up Dismember, 4 in hand. Pass. And let's see what you got. Paying cost for Kavu. Stumper Denial is a thing, but if we eat the Denial, it means the Stirrings can resolve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Short on Emrakul. Okay. End step. Dismember. Do you have a stubborn denial? Nope. Okay. Well, should mean the Stirrings is free then. Flesh Rate, Command, Broodscale. Thinking Command. The thing is we can't play it right now because of the potential for Consign. So I'm thinking Flesh Rake, actually. Because we can guarantee its resolution. Pass in full. Fetch Wooded Foothill. Triome and pass. Four in hand. Arena of Glory. Do you haste the Sign of Draco? Looks like it. So I'd really love to see a Chrysalis, but we'd also need another color. Ragavan, we can block with a Spawn. Kavu. Sign of Draco. So first strike. Yep. Yeah, I need a Chrysalis here. Go to blocks. Block. Down to 12. So I need a green source or a Chrysalis. Halfling's not it. Ancient Stirrings. Do you have a Stubborn Denial? You do not. We have a Wayscape Battle Mage, however. Wayscape Battle Mage. Any order. Let's see if you have a Consign. So green, colorless, triggers, exile, Sign of Draco. Damn. There's Consign. We pass in full, counter both triggers. We'll take 4 off the top. Damn. I mean, we're not blocking at the Flesh Rake, right? So we'll attack the Flesh Rake. And we'll chump with the Wayscape. Land. Chump. 8. Draw. Stirrings. Find another Wayscape. Blade. Blade of the Blood Chief. Cast. Blade. Trigger. Always yield. Always yield. Equip the Flesh Rake. Go to combat. Swing for 2. Down to 10. Wooded Foothills. Surveil. Looking for a Flage, I imagine. Yep, Thundering Falls. Flage will do it. Hasty Sign will not. They keep it on top. That's concerning. What is it? Okay, not that. Go to blocks. Block, trigger. Always yield. I'll pass. Down to 4. That won't do it. I can deal you 3, 4. 4 damage. Not enough. I'll concede. Unfortunate. Yeah, the consigns on the Wayscape just always got me. They're always close, but not there, unfortunately. But still, not a bad record. 3-2 at the end of 5 feels good. Solid wins against Titan, against Goryos, main losses to Tron and Zoo, which aren't bad. So overall, pretty happy with the results. Chrysalis. Its opening hand data was bad, which makes me think that running 3 as I am might not be a bad idea. Ugin felt awkward, I'm not gonna lie. In a non-lab version, I've always felt that anything but Emrakul that gets cheapened, I mean, Emrakul gets cheapened by 7 at a max cap. I guess 8 with Ugin, to be fair. 7, though, on average without Ugin. All the way down to, what, 6? Which is a bit more reasonable, especially with Eldrazi temples. Like, in an ideal world, we can turn 3 Chrysalis with, let's say, E-Temp, Land, 3. Spawn, 5. Land would be 6, but we'd need a Halfling or a Springleaf Drum for 7 on 4. Either that or Flesh Raker on 2 into Chrysalis on 3. So it's definitely not impossible to play Ugin as early as turn 4. I'm not sure it's good enough. Yeah, I don't know. This league did at least demonstrate to me the power of Chrysalis. In these grindy games, which there was plenty of, we were able to grind out value with Chrysalis. I'm not sure 4 is the right number based on the opening hand data. I definitely think the cast data in this league increased Chrysalis. I'm going to bet, but we'll have to see. I'll have to pull the data later. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Chrysalis versus TKS. Maybe running TKS in the sideboard. Maybe 3 Chrysalis is the right number, so we're not seeing it as often in the opening hand. Yeah. A lot of things to consider. I think the deck's, once again, has room for improvement. If I were to keep the Chrysalis cut, what would I bring in is the question. Maybe another land, honestly. Right now on 22 with a gemstone. Maybe bump myself up to 23. I feel like I'm light on lands a lot. So maybe that's right. Maybe bring in another Saga target main. Maybe. What would I even bring in? Soul Guide Lantern? Possibly. I think 3 Chrysalis felt good. I didn't want to see it in my opening hand too often. I didn't want to see it off the top too often. So I think less than 4 is right there. Yeah, I'll have to give it some more thought. We also could like bump Emrakul up to 2 again instead of the Ugin. Either way, is that the Ugin objectively felt bad a lot of times, especially in these matchups where a lot of them had Consign, had access to Force, were too fast. The Ugin just needed to be cut the majority of the time. So, something to think about, something to consider. With that being said, though, that there will be the end of today's video. As always, if you did enjoy it, please do consider hitting the like button, comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback. It'd be much appreciated. For as much that I hope that you all learn from me in both my success and failures, I hope I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you have reached this point in the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button as we're getting closer and closer to our next goal of 1,000 subscribers. At which point, I'll be able to start monetizing these videos, allowing me to start saving up for a stream PC so I can stream live over on Twitch. In the meantime, though, you can support me monetarily over on my Patreon, where you get early access to my YouTube videos, as well as any updates I make to my deck guides. With that being said, though, folks, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye!